What about the French, guys? What is left for the French to have in their tech tree in the air? I gotta say, there isn't a lot of things, but let's continue the trend of videos that I'm doing, talking about what is left for the countries right now in the top ranks of an air tech tree. And the French do not have a lot of things, but it is very cool what they have, okay? The first thing is, of course, many Rafales. They can have multiple Rafales depending on the performance that they want to have in these aircraft. For example, they can have the Rafale C with the F4.1 modification onto it. We have the F3R, which is the previous version, right? This would create out of Rafale that it's a little bit better. Of course, the F3R can already take the Meteor missile, for example, the Talos pod, the Sniper pod, better versions of the EM39, and etc, etc. So the version that we have in the game already could already be better than what it is in the game with better missiles and stuff, MiG-IR, etc, right? But of course, we need to wait for the game to be ready for those weapons and missiles, right? But the F4.1 would basically have a new version of the ASM with the 1000 variant, so heavier, right? It would have the Scorpion helmet. It would have new and large displays in the cockpit. It would have new ground modes for the radar, major electronic updates, like for example new jammers under the wings. He would have a better IIST, better, basically a modification to be able to carry 2 additional MICAs, so he would carry more missiles, and even he would use a decoy, a towed decoy, just like the Eurofighter could, that would basically create a target behind the aircraft to decoy missiles, right? I mean, they're technically possible. I don't know if they actually use these in the the current 4.1, right? So it would be a small upgrade, but an upgrade indeed. And of course, with that, they can add, for example, the MiG-IR, the Meteor missile, when these missiles are ready to be added to the game, when the game is ready for these missiles, right? Of course, there is a version that is in development right now, which is the F5 Super Rafale, or even the F4.2, right, with the MiCA-NG and some other upgrades. But since they are not in operation right now, I would ignore these a little bit and focus on the 4.1. When the 4.2 or F5 comes along, maybe we can have it added to the game. But the F4.1 would be the one that would carry the MiG-IR and be the top dog of a 4th generation for the French. Not only we have the normal Rafale C with this, but of course the Navy Rafale, the Rafale M, could be added. I think that the F3R, which is the version that we have in the game, navalized, would be the first one to be added, right? So this would be the exact aircraft that we have in the game, the Rafale that we have in the game, but navalized with the Catobar, modifications on the gear, with the arrestor hook, etc, right? So it would be basically the same aircraft, but for a naval environment. Of course, it might be a little bit heavier, but it doesn't matter too much. It would be cool to have the Navy version, especially because the Navy part of the tech tree is, I mean, we don't have a proper Navy part, but we kind of do at the same time. So it kind of ends up with the Mirage 4000, but yeah, the Crusader is above it, right? So it would make sense to have the same Rafale, but a Navy one there. Maybe it's easier to get, faster to get, because there is less aircraft in that, line of the tech tree, but it is a little bit heavier, the Rafale, right? And of course, it could have the Rafale M as well, the Navy one, with the 4.1 version, the F4.1, right? With the same things that I talked about, before. So here, little upgrades here and there that could bring that there to just become the next generation of 4th generation aircraft when these missiles like the MiG-IR and Meteor missiles come along, right? Of course, we can also have a B-placed version under the Mirage 2000D. I don't know if this is ever going to be added, but I mean, it would be basically a copy-paste of the F3R that we have in the game, or the future F4.1, but a B-placed one. The weapon systems, everything would be the same, but it's a B-placed one, right? So it could be a thing that they added for it. That could be a different taste of the aircraft, maybe a different BR, because obviously the performance would be a little bit worse, not by much, but it would be a little bit, right? And yeah, it would be another line that can have Rafale. So we have multiple Rafales that can be added. The M, the B, even modified versions of the C. So very, very cool. But of course, nothing too different from what we have. And that's kind of it for the French aircraft. Yes, there's nothing else for the top dogs that can be added for the French. If we talk about the Dutch or Belgians, yes, then of course we can have in the far future the 5th generation jet. And I gotta be honest, guys, honestly, I'm starting to think that maybe they added the sub-3 just because of this, to prepare it for the future. Because although the French could use a sub-3, it didn't bring anything too different, right? If you take a look on that sub-3, I mean, it has F-16s, which is pretty cool, but everything else is Mirages, F-104s, Hunters, Meteors, Spitfires, right? It's aircraft that we already have. It's basically just copy-paste, but I have a feeling that it just opens up to make France future-proof with the 5th generations, because of course both the Dutch and the Belgians, they do use the F-35A, which is the conventional takeoff and landing version, the most performance out of all the F-35s, right? Internal gun, of course I always like to say this, and it's a 5th generation jet, right? Stealth, eye as a radar, helmet, you know, I don't need to explain it every single time what an F-35 is. You probably know what an F-35 is. So it's an aircraft that can come right now for the French when it comes to the game, even if it's in 2 or 3 years, because of the Dutch and Belgian sub-3, right? So it is very cool. But at the same time, it is a copy-paste, and at the same time, there's nothing else. It's Rafales and then an F-35. These countries, Holland and, you know, the Dutch and the Belgians, they also don't have anything else to be added, right? So it is the Rafale with the M version, with the B version maybe, a more modernized C variant, together with the F-35 at the end of the line on the Belgians and the Dutch. And that's kind of it. There's nothing else that we can add here, unfortunately, right? Which is kind of sad, but it is indeed still a very cool and unique tech tree, just because you will have the Rafale. Don't get me wrong, 5th generation jets are going to be a step up over the 4th generations, but the Rafale, even against an F-35, I have a feeling that it will be very good. So even if you don't want to take the F-35, you will have very modern Rafales that will have very good missiles and radars and everything. I mean, I have a feeling that the Rafale's radar, like I said yesterday, is the best radar in the game. It has 300 kilometers max range. Max range, right? Of course, not the stat card range, like the max optimal range, bigger target, it's 300 kilometers. So IASA, I mean, it's an amazing aircraft. The performance is amazing. So yeah, just have that in mind, that we will have a lot of Rafales, but also the F-35 on that tech tree, and that's kind of it, okay? Let me know in the comments if I forgot any. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and happy Sunday. See you guys today or tomorrow. I don't know. See you guys. Bye.